what's gonna dry out that little throat of yours?
Ain't nothing gonna dry out this little throat of mine. I'm gonna let it shine in this week's episode of Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, baby. What's going on? My name is Sean. With me, as always, is my beloved host, motherfucking James.
Hello! Sean, is the microphone, hand, arm where it needs to be?
No, I will adjust it 25 more times throughout the recording and make it impossible to listen to.
Yeah, because your arm and mic, I don't think is as good as, a professional radio man who is constantly switching it about. Don't do that, guys.
Now, James, would it surprise you that I spent, I'd say about 90% of my college education in the radio studio acting as a microphone arm? Unmoving, focused, still as a portrait on the side of the Louvre.
You're a boom, but you have to hold it.
Okay, boom mic.
All right, boom mic.
Is this anything?
I bet individuals who run sound on sets are constantly being called okay. They're like, hey, can I get, this would be hilarious. I hope, Sean, please, I know you are background, but please make this joke. You'll instantly be what do they call an extra
PA.
who gets a close-up?
PA. I'll be a production assistant. No, that's how good this joke needs to be. Is that I need to be upgraded all the way to production assistant. They need to change my job title entirely.
A featured extra. That's what I was looking for. So I read the Jeanette McCurdy book. I know about the terms of the industry, but
oh wow,
guy says quiet on set for room tone, and then you say okay, boomer.
Boom mic. Oh, boomer? Do we go boomer?
Yeah,
or
just
boom
go
mic?
boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Because technically that's what they are. They are a boomer.
I mean, I think they're technically boom mic because in the world of production, you do not have a face or an identity. You are solely the object you represent. Like, I'm not, guy with the dark hair. I am pair of shoes who will walk across the camera at 13 seconds in. That's my title.
But you can still call them a boomer. Like, it's a boom mic.
Okay.
You can still say, okay, boomer.
And you can still call this Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the podcast where James and I break down episode by episode the series Lucha Underground, a combined effort from the El Rey Network and AAA. And we got a wild, I don't want to call it a double main event because back in the day, like in the 90s, WCW especially would call things like a triple main event. And really, it was a single main event and they just wanted to pay more guys more. But this is kind of a double main event.
Yeah.
Huge 2 matches.
I don't want to call it because someone else called it inaccurately, but what I am actually doing is calling it accurately. You can do that, Sean. And also, I don't like you bringing up WCW stuff when this is Lucha Underground, all right?
Wait, what's wrong with WCW stuff?
Oh, well, that's not a part of this promotion, okay?
I need to hold on now. Now, unbeknownst to you, our dear listeners, James has started watching episodes of Young Rock.
I'm 3 seasons in.
The NBC docuseries about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whose career mostly took place in the bitter war of the Monday Night Wars. James, are you just all in on a WWF guy now? WCW, get that trash out of here? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that's what's happening. WCW, you want to know what that means?
I do want to know what that means.
Weakest catheter having wrestlers, all right?
They just can't hold a catheter in.
Nah.
They just can't hold it.
Their urethras are so gaping from all the sounding they do, it just slides right out.
Yeah, which there's nothing wrong with that, but also they're bad at wrestling.
But I was actually referencing the thing you did many weeks ago, saying, I just don't like it when they bring up other promotions on this show.
I didn't like when they
Shut up.
Well, hold on. No, I have to it's weird. I saw a cool interview with Tony Khan, who is, I'm bringing up another promotion, but we haven't started talking about this episode yet, so I have time.
Do you mean Tony Khan, the brother of the showrunner of Young Rock?
Wait, who's the showrunner for Young Rock?
His sister.
Are you sure?
No, yeah, I'm 100% positive. I was looking to see what else she did, and one of her first things is like, hey, and speaking of wrestling, she's brother with Tony Khan.
That's crazy. Damn.
I think that. Hold on.
Tony or Nick? It's weird because there are two unrelated Khans in wrestling right now.
Which one works in WWE?
Nick.
All right, then she is brothers with Nick Khan.
Okay. Tony Khan, famous, is the owner of AEW. Which I think it was with the Mark Maron. He was on the Mark Maron show talking about being a challenger brand, which is the first time I had ever heard of this phrase. But it's basically what Pepsi was to Coca-Cola, what Burger King was to McDonald's, and how as a challenger brand, you are encouraged to bring up the name of your competitor pretty frequently because you are the one biting at the heels. Mm-hmm. Like, it would be weird if McDonald's was like, we're better than Burger King, I promise you, because they are the number one spot. Meanwhile, Burger King can come in and be like, yo, McDonald's sucks. I'll punch a clown in the mouth and steal away his nose. And people will be like, fuck yeah, challenger brand. Punch that clown in the nose and steal his mouth. And so I might have spoken too soon. I'm rethinking my position on whatever Lucha Underground did to reference WWE. I forget what it was.
Yeah, and look at Nintendo always getting hit by Sega or Sony.
Yeah.
You never would have gotten Crash Bandicoot with a megaphone outside of Nintendo.
Which is so funny that, I don't know, even bringing it back to wrestling, that ad reminds me of when D-Generation X tried to invade WCW. And wait a minute, D-Generation X is the WWE brand. Is WCW the number one, James? Also The Rock? I'm sorry, it looks like old Goose is a WCW head now. They're the number one? D-Generation X has to knock on their door with their little tank, but it's really just a tiny Jeep that they call a tank? Fuck WWE.
Nah.
WCW for life.
Nah, I'm all on the real cons, all right? Nick and Nanachka Khan.
Oh, yeah, no, they're pretty cool. I love the way they brought Vince McMahon back into... I made myself sad.
No, because of WWE working with NBC for this show, generally pleasant light is shined on WWE for the most part. But I do like how they are just making Vince McMahon, at least in season 3. I don't know if this would have been before or after all the NDA stuff came out. Mm-hmm. They're kind of just making him a figurehead who talks very little right now. Of just like, truly, they're at a little monitor, and Pat Anderson, is that his name? Pat Patterson?
Patterson.
He's like, what do we do? And all Vince McMahon says, switch him to the main event. And that's it.
That's his only line so far?
Oh, no. I mean, right now, he's doing very little.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll see. Even if he doesn't come back in the show, he was recently spotted. I think, this last Monday, he was backstage at Monday Night Raw. All the news stories assure us that he was just there to see his best friend John Cena. Ooh. So he could say, hey, John, it's good to see you again. I sure am a big fan of you. Can you sign this NDA so that you can't tell anyone I was hanging out backstage at Raw? And John's like, no, I can't keep signing these NDAs, Vince. Ah, jeez.
He walks up all like barrel chest and says, what up, my friend?
Hey, I wasn't sure if you saw that clip.
Of course
Vince
I have.
McMahon saying the N-word to famous white Bostonian John Cena. I hate wrestling sometimes.
Yeah, you love it, dude. You want to suckle
I
at
do.
the teat of Vince McMahon and every other elitist who runs it.
I mean, not so much, but I will suckle at the teat of bounty hunter Brian Keith forcing the king of wreck shit mountain Ratty Daddy to earn his kiss on Thursday night over at Freelance Wrestling in Chicago. I'll suckle at that teat all day.
Get these fuckers on our show.
Okay, working on it.
All right.
But first, let's recap a little bit of what's happening, what's going on this week. Another episode of really wrestling. No real back. Yeah, I think like 1 or 2 backstage segments. That's about it.
Well, yeah, because in storyline, we have crescendoed into, it's like the guts. You gotta have them.
Yes.
You hear about the story in the beginning.
Crag.
Yes. Oh, well,
Yeah.
hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got excited for the aggro crack at the scoreboard with Mo.
So we start getting the story of all these three competitors up front, but by the time you're crescendoing the aggro crag, that's the climax of the entire thing. We know the story. We know the rivalries. We don't need any more. What we're here is the climax of all these stories.
Yeah. So we're pretty much here. I think I just find it odd in actual like going back in shows. I feel like this is the second or third heavily wrestling featured episode, as opposed to like, featuring a lot of backstage segments and a lot of like I still need to know what's going on with Black Lotus. It's been like how many weeks since we've seen Black Lotus?
We'll figure it out.
All right then.
I saw Danny Tamberelli in the crowd, and he was waiting to get slimed on and shatter a child's dream of going to a dude ranch.
Wait, hold on. Two things. Dude Ranch, and did you actually see Danny Tamberelli? Because I missed that.
No. You said figure it out, so I was going to say, like, he's here to figure it out.
See, now, if you had said Suzanne Sunders, I would not have known because that is not her name. But if you said Suzanne Summers, I would have known.
I'm in a sunder over. Also, it's not Suzanne Summers. It's, man, I know this fucker. Like, I watch this show so often, you fucked me up.
Suanne Summers?
Hold on, you piece of shit. You broke me.
I didn't do anything. I came on here to talk about Sunders Suzanne, and
She's
everyone yelled at me.
Damn Olympian, Sean.
I forgot that's true for
Summer Sanders. That's why we were messing it up.
Oh shit, that's true. I was surprisingly close with Sunders Summers.
Man, all those kids used, like Danny Tamberelli and all that friends would just smoke cigarettes and run around Universal Studios all day in Florida.
Oh man, that's kind of my dream.
Yeah, man, that would have been fucking amazing.
That would have been pretty cool. Speaking of cigarettes, have I talked to you about how badly I want to give Amanditita a cigarette because I love her? And I do. I don't know. I just want to give her a cigarette.
That's a shit gift to someone who might not smoke cigarettes.
That's true. I want to find out if she smokes cigarettes and then like give her a cigarette. And then if she's like, nah, I'll be like, cool. Here's a Game Boy copy of the Tom and Jerry game. It's like the Tom and Jerry movie, but the game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That premiered in Germany. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Did you know that I don't think that movie is very good, but I loved it when I was a kid?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you've never... Wait, not the newest one.
Yeah.
Not the live action one. The old animated one.
Yeah, the one that premiered in, I believe, Germany. It was a huge chapter within the Barbera autobiography.
I buy that. I mean, I feel like it definitely like resurged interest in Tom and Jerry for a minute. I buy that.
You want to know why?
Shouts out Germany. Why?
They did this because...
Oh, why, James? Why?
Turner was like, oh, we can get the rights of Tom and Jerry back. Like, we can absolutely buy that from MGM. And then bought it. They owned it. Then Hanna-Barbera, who was also owned by Turner at the time and still are technically, they were like, oh, then let's start making new Tom and Jerry shorts and let's do this movie, bitch.
Yeah. All right. And then Germany was just there being like, oh, we don't want a new Tom and Jerry movie. Please don't bring us a new Tom and Jerry movie. But they were being coy. Like they actually sent a text message beforehand being like, hey, we're really into this new thing. We're gonna tell you we don't want a new Tom and Jerry movie, but this is us consenting that we do, in fact, really want a Tom and Jerry movie.
Oh, yeah, bitch.
Yeah. I have run out of transitions.
Holy shit, after having its world premiere in Germany. Yahoo! Why do I know that?
I don't know. Were you not like 100% on that?
I wasn't 100%. I was like, it could have been London, but I remember them going, or it could have just been hey, we went to the Germany premiere, but no, it was straight up, it premiered in Germany.
James, you are so lucky you did not just lie to me.
Uh-huh.
dangerously close to lying to me.
Shoot, Sean, I have two quick things. One,
Okay.
we are doing Formulaic, a table read after that. So from now on, I will only be speaking in the characters that I will be performing as.
Oh, no.
So it's here that I have to say, the Dominator is done, kaput,
Don't.
forever ended even.
I'm like so happy to see you, Snagglepuss. And I'm really happy to bring this news of the Dominator to us. But I'm also very upset to still be talking about the Dominator.
Well, that's what we have to say. The doggy daddy right here is saying
Hey,
Dominator done. Ha ha, my
What up,
sweet
doggy daddy?
child. Oh yeah, Augie Doggy was gonna go in a Dominator, and I started crying.
Good. Thank you. I'm so upset that James just left the room because he needs to hear this. He loves you guys. And I feel like if he were to see Doggy Daddy cry, I don't know if James would be able to go forward with these ill-informed plans of the Dominator.
Yes, and now I might sound exactly like Doggy Daddy, but I'm actually Richard Nixon, former president of the United States.
You know what, Richard Nixon? After working on Wrestling Guerrilla versus Quick Draw McGraw, I get it.
Yes.
Shocking. If that's a deep cut for some of you Hanna-Barbera heads, you'd be surprised how shockingly similar those impressions are going to be.
It's as if they were all voiced by like 3 people.
Yeah, and none of them were Mel Blanc. I'm just saying, shout out to Mel Blanc. It's wild how different he made his voices.
Well, James just wanted to say one thing.
Oh yeah, what's up, Snagglepuss?
The Dominator might be done, kaput, finished even.
Hell yeah.
But he's not done.
Why?
When it comes to invention. So listeners, send in your ideas for a new segment called The McCollum Tank.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Listeners.
guys, pitch me your inventions and I'll figure out how best they can dom a dog.
I'm so upset you used Snagglepuss to pitch that idea. You know how I would feel about Snagglepuss. He does hot girl shit. Of course I love Snagglepuss.
Yeah, he's the best. He did it.
Cool as hell. He's for true. And now I have to go along with this ridiculous idea. Much as like Angelico must have to go along with this second match against Eternal Loser, Son of Havoc, with Evilise.
No!
James, you had a visible reaction to Evilise.
No!
Not a fan of her work, I see.
Oh, no, I'm fine with her. Her name just sounds scary.
Because she is scary. She's a woman. And Vampiro has told us all women give him migraines.
Yeah, there's some stuff he said, but, ooh, baby.
Yeah, there is some stuff. If this is your first time tuning in, a quick recap of what has gone on in the last couple of weeks. Son of Havoc, who has been wrestling since episode 1, only has one victory on this show. And James, do you know who that one victory is over?
Was it over Masqueridas and Gradas?
Absolutely not. Masqueridas and Grata kicked the shit out of Son of Havoc.
Was it against some jobber that I wouldn't remember?
No, it's not. Some jobber you would not remember beat the hell and back again out of Son of Havoc.
Okay, who was it?
The only person Son of Havoc, to my knowledge, has beaten on television is Angelico.
Oh.
Remember? Yeah, I think the first time they met, Son of Havoc with the help of Evilise.
Okay.
It was yeah. So then, they've been going back and forth. Angelico has wrestled Evilise. It has gotten messy, but charming throughout because I love me some Angelico. And Son of Havoc is an amazing wrestler. Shouts out to HenDog20.
Yes. I really want Nicole to make up designs and Crumbum style of the 3 cats who are near and dear to my heart. We'll get HenDog20, and then who's the Brutus the Beefcake? What's his name?
Brutus the Barber Beefcake?
Okay, so Butter the Butter Beef Gravy.
Beef Gravy, okay.
So Henry dressed as M-Dog20, Butter dressed up as the Beefcake, and what would Franklin? Is there any Frank? Or the Tank? Is anyone named the Tank?
I mean, there's Tank Abbott, but that was a WCW guy.
That's fine.
Famously.
Wait, why doesn't that matter?
Also, I think he actually, because you hate WCW and love the Young Rock.
I don't care.
What about Dwayne the Frank Johnson?
Dwayne the Frank, what?
Like Dwayne the Frank Johnson.
Yeah, but we need something that somewhat rhymes.
Okay, what about, okay, now here's just a shot in the dark. I don't even know if this would work. But, if we took, I am so upset the only wrestler I can think of is Tank Abbott, because I'm pretty sure he tried to stab a dude like multiple times.
Frank has with his little claws.
That's true.
Frank Abbott.
Yeah, Franklin Abbott, sure.
No, just Frank.
Frank, all right then, just Frank Abbott.
Ooh, Frank Abbott Elementary. So then it's half Janine from Abbott Elementary and then half the Tank Abbott.
You might want to look up anything about Tank Abbott before you give this to Franklin.
Okay, I don't care. He'll make it his own.
Yeah, okay. I believe it. I believe in Franklin like that. Just like I believe in Angelico, because we all know I love this man.
And I believe it's Vampiro was said to have amorous eyes for Evilise, but I have amorous eyes for some ambrosia salad. Hum nom nom nom. Hum nom nom nom. Give me the multicolored freaking marshmallows in me.
Yeah, you fucking cowards. Heart stores, horseshoes, clovers, and ambrosia.
Man, that stuff, even thinking of eating ambrosia salad gives me cardiac arrest. Cardiac distress, I should say.
Oh man, it gives me cardiac a mess. I gotta clean my room every time I eat it.
Uh-huh.
As they've been going on, Son of Havoc, we've talked about it before, but just kind of reiterate, is a scumbag of a character, but is kind of getting over because Matt Cross has an amazing moveset. He's a very skilled wrestler who is very exciting to watch wrestle. So it's like the gimmick is kind of I'm a trailer park scumbag kind of guy, but people are cheering for him because he does amazing things in the ring that only he can do.
What do Son of Havoc and Summer Sanders have in common?
Is Son of Havoc an Olympian?
Yes, what?
Yes, he is a gymnast. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Sean.
Okay.
No, this is now the third time we've brought this up on the show.
Then why didn't you just say it instead of making me jump through your hoops, sir?
As if you were an Olympian jumping through hoops.
As if I were a dog on display at the Westminster Academy show for fine canines. How dare you?
This is what I do as a dog is jumping through hoops. I say, come on. They jump through a hoop, land right in a Dominator.
Oh my God, we can't do that anymore.
Angelico is the Rule 63 aged up version of Angelica Pickles.
What and why did you take this note?
Because Angelico is like Angelica, which is Angelica.
I guess that is not the cartoon character the audience of the temple would think he is. A lot of Shaggy chants throughout this match.
What?
Did you not pick up? Yeah, at least two, I want to say 3 times, the temple chants, "Let's go Shaggy," at Angelico during this match.
Like the singer?
I'm gonna guess more like the cartoon character.
He looks nothing like him.
He has kind of floopy emo hair. He is very tall and he is very skinny. That's a Shaggy.
Unless they were saying, let's go Super Shaggy from the second movie.
And I will say sure. And pretend I know what that is about.
It's when he gets
we are
all
already
buff.
25 minutes in. Well, but that's the thing. He's like buff, but like Angelico is a very slender frame. Has a very slim frame.
He has an unrealistic body. I don't know how he is so chiseled, and it just looks unrealistic.
I mean, yes, I think that is because he is so tall, which makes it a little harder to put on muscle and to put on mass. So he just kind of focused on chiseling it down.
Then how come I'm a short king and I don't get mass real easy?
Because you're too focused on your coom gutters.
Yeah, and they're popping, bitch.
Let him know. This is really just a match of like, go out there and make beautiful art with your bodies. I feel like all of them are in a kind of odd place because we talked about how Son of Havoc was, getting more over or like babyface popular just based on his exciting moves. But as him and Evilise come to the ring, Evilise is getting chanted. People are going, Evilise, Evilise. So it's such an odd place where Angelico's still getting babyface chants, like they're not turning against him. The past couple weeks, people have been coming around on Son of Havoc, and at least in the beginning of this match, they were coming around to Evilise. It's so interesting, these three. I think, and I'm so curious how much of it is organic and how much of it is studio TV magic.
Oh, I think all of this is organic.
It feels pretty organic. There's something so odd. We've talked about this before with Matt Cross, Son of Havoc, of just like being a bad guy but having a really exciting set of moves where it's like even if it's like a cartoon, like a Saturday morning cartoon, where maybe like, oh man, yeah, Rocksteady's supposed to be a bad guy, but if you just saw his toy in the aisle and you're like, yo, Rocksteady looks awesome, he's my favorite. Like sometimes that happens. That can happen with wrestlers.
But as I've seen from trying to find out when this was filmed, how many they did in a day, the Reddit for this was like, hey, make sure you get your tickets before they're all reserved. It is wrestling fans coming in, which we can see. You really think they're just finding, like on Conan, like, hey, neckbeards, come. No, you wouldn't just random tourists aren't being selected and it's like, oh, wow, they're all neckbeards.
Yeah. No, this is, I don't wonder at what point it was, because even like even in dialed in wrestling fans would have heard like, hey, this is not just Robert Rodriguez doing a Vanity's wrestling project. This is connected to AAA. There's going to be some legitimacy and some star power involved in this. But like, yeah, and it shows. It's a really good wrestling show. This match is awesome. I loved this match, man.
I bet for the first 3 episodes, it was as many people as they could find and friends and family. That was it. But then once you say like, hey, AAA is doing this thing in America, all you have to do is tweet that out from their account and all the wrestling fans are going to be like, oh, hell yeah, I need to see this.
All I had to hear was, hey, they're using John Hennigan, a.k.a. Johnny Lucha, a.k.a. Johnny Down Under, because he does call himself Johnny Down Under when he wrestles in Australia. John Morrison. As soon as you tell me, hey, they're using this guy and they're using him pretty well, I'm there. I'm like, fucking A. As soon as you tell me we got a guy who licks a rock and he loves the rock, but also it's not the rock, it's like an actual rock, but also his girlfriend is going to betray him to go marry a cat, but also he's dead, I'm there. That's all you have to tell me. Yeah, simple as that.
There's a part where Vampiro, because Evilise is screaming and throughout the match is saying, oh, giving me a migraine. Oh, her voice is so grating. He says, imagine going to dinner at her place with her mom, her aunt, her sister. Ugh. But I really wish he would have said just, there's a little beat after, and her sister. That's all I want. I'm so lonely.
I just want to be invited to dinner, please.
I don't know how to cook.
No, Vampiro is an island. Every time I meet interesting women, they turn out to be alien zombies, mannequins who want me for my bod and not my mind. We are referencing his movie. That is a deep cut, if you will.
And a spoiler for that movie.
I don't know if you're going to watch it. I'm sorry, beautiful listeners. I don't know you were going to watch it. But the match is fire. I know at one point Vampiro also says, I'm becoming a fan again, which I think is like the 3rd time he said it in this series. But you know what? I get it. This match is very exciting. It's a lot of huge moves, huge kicks, insane flips, and insane speed from both men. I want to get to just kind of like the ending sequence here. At some point, Son of Havoc is wrestling Angelico, finally gets Angelico to the mat, and Evilise has been talking throughout, just like, you should do better. Stop sucking. Whatever you're doing, do it a good job. And she grabs him by the beard and drags Son of Havoc to the apron to yell at him more, which, hey, guess who found out a new fetish this week? That's awesome. I don't know why that's so sexy.
Vampiro did.
That's true. Me and Vampiro, we're in the same boat. We hate women. We love being grabbed by our beards and told we're doing a bad job. But Evilise like grabs Son of Havoc, pulls him by the beard to the apron, tells him he's doing a bad job, and it's barely picked up on mic. But you hear Son of Havoc just say, "You're trying to help me? I don't need your help." before pushing Ivelisse out of the way to Enziguri are running at Helico. Like a spot that normally Son of Havoc would have fallen for. He would have been listening to his girlfriend and Helico runs him over. He caught it this time. Springboard double stomp. Eventually, Helico tries to cut Son of Havoc off from the top rope. Instead, Son of Havoc reverse suplexes him nuts first onto the ropes. Like, this is a different Son of Havoc.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's paying attention to the match, who's not letting himself get distracted, who's not doing something stupid like, I don't know, calling for a microphone mid-match. Until he calls for a microphone mid-match.
This dude sounds like he is in witness protection. Are they modulating his voice on the mic?
No, dude, wrestling's a dirty business. He might be in witness protection.
Because he just sounds like, hey guys, I'm talking like this.
No, he might be. I don't remember if he was a CZW guy, but he might be in witness protection. I'm not too sure. What I do know is that Son of Havoc knows why he's been losing all of his matches. Looks to Ivelisse, you've been holding me back. Ivelisse, you are dumped. He gives Ivelisse the international fuck you before hitting the shooting star press for 3 at 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Son of Havoc has beaten Angelico, and I've wept. But it was a very good match. And then post-match, Ivelisse gets the you fucked up chance while Son of Havoc blows her a kiss goodbye and he's embracing the crowd. They love this guy. They love this Havoc son thereof. And then Ivelisse, however, does not. She is left in the ring with a grinning Angelico who would still smash. However, Ivelisse crescent kicks him in the head instead.
Oh, yeah.
I like this match.
Very good.
Yeah, and I like this idea of flipping Son of Havoc into a little bit more of a babyface.
He's becoming more tolerant, guys.
He's becoming more tolerant. I forgot that was his original gimmick. Oh, wait a minute. That was his first gimmick. He did not like women or master or, yeah. But he's becoming more tolerant, maybe. I don't know. We actually haven't seen any evidence of him becoming more tolerant. Just of, I don't know, not respecting his girlfriend anymore. Actually, I don't know how I feel about this Son of Havoc guy. You know what? Like, on a technical story breakdown, like, he did not get over the reason we disliked him, which was that he was intolerant to other people, right? He didn't change that in this arc. If anything, he is less tolerant to women now. No. Because he blamed his girlfriend for all of his losses.
I mean, she was.
Was she, though?
Yeah, she kept distracting him, and he's like, what? And then donk right on the head. He done for.
That's fair. See, a guy like me I think the plan is for her to distract the opponent, not you. So, like, part of me is like, well, like, if I was Ivelisse, it's like, yeah, I'm supposed to be distracting. That's my job. Just you don't get distracted by me because you know what's coming. Stop being distracted by me.
We could also say his showmanship was, but no, it's still her. He wants to show off a little bit, do his super cool moves, but then she's angry. She's like, oh, just pin him already. Just pin him. And then he's like, I'm doing my shit. Then donk right on the head. He's out.
That's true. And he's like, come on, I have a really cool moveset. Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't give me a chance to show it off on Tough Enough. But I do absolutely like revolutionary moves that will change this business forever.
He says
that they do.
I'm a junior gold medalist, okay?
He's a junior gold medalist, and he finally has 2 wins on Lucha Underground. And we cut to Dario's office.
Speaking of losers, or the opposite of winners. Wow.
Wait, what?
Of course, Dario has a sickly handshake.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's just because he's saving all that energy to masturbate? I don't know.
How's cocaine from his fingertip to his nose?
Probably that. Yeah. Do the old boop. But he has signed someone to his roster, someone who won't be held back by some tag team because it is the former tag team champion, member of LAX, possibly the only guy who might not hate Chavo in the locker room. It's Hernandez, baby.
No idea who this is.
I talked about him before when he showed up on a Dark episode. Hernandez, longtime guy, ROH, like one of those early 2000s guys that might have benefited for if there were more than just the WWE on major television, but still did a lot, was a huge force in TNA. LAX, which featured Hernandez, Homicide, the first ROH champion, as well as our beloved Conan, the chess-playing, cane-wielding maniac himself. Or like, I feel like a very stable tag team or stable to start programs with in TNA at the time. And this is TNA, like TNA all the way back to when they were holding the NWA gold, early TNA. Jeff Jarrett, Breewoo TNA.
And then that dude threw it on the ground and said, "This is total nonstop action, baby."
That's exactly how it happened. And they do reference Hernandez. That's exactly how it happened. They do reference Hernandez and Conan's shared history, Hernandez's experience in the LAX. And I like Hernandez, man. I don't think they reference, I have to double check the timelines, but how the LAX has reformed and it featured Hernandez and Chavo winning the tag titles together. They don't mention that because they don't want people to literally shit on Hernandez. And I don't blame them. Hernandez, please don't poop on Hernandez. We've all won tag team titles with Chavo Guerrero at some point in our lives, okay? None of us is perfect.
I did it back in 2016.
I did it just this morning.
Whoa. That's why you were a little late.
Yeah, that's why I was a little late. You had to bull rope me in for this one.
You want to know why I was late?
Oh, please tell me.
Because I got Cayman.
I had a transition.
Like, you know,
heard
my
the
period
transition.
is late.
Yeah, no, you heard how.
I
tell me it
started
was a good
saying that
transition.
as you were saying the transition, so both of us overlapped.
Okay, well, you know what that means, though? That means you have to transition into the next match.
Transition into the next match?
Transition into the next match.
Okay, well, give me something. Hey, guys, you want to know what? When I got Cayman...
Yeah, that's your transition point, Cayman.
Yes, when I got Cayman, I had just this rope of anal beads inside of me. And it was as if, I was tied to my partner. And if one of us got a little too far out, it'd tug on the other, just like a bullwhip match.
Yep, the bull rope match for the AAA Mega Championship is up next. Tejano versus Alberto El Patron.
I could have actually transitioned this better with just one of my notes, which is on one of the final episodes of Five Man, they did a chain death match between Chevrolet and Five Red. He ties a chain to Five Red and says, "This won't go off until one of us dies," and they start having an awesome-ass sword fight.
That sounds amazing.
It was dope. Also, Sean, there is a pro wrestling episode of Spider-Man from Toei, the Japanese one, that you gotta guest on.
Oh, okay, absolutely. There are two things I love. It is Spider-Man and pro wrestling. If there's one thing I do not love, it's probably Alberto El Patron. But he puts on a fine match here, I guess.
Boo. I hated the end of this match. It was Suckfest General.
I mean, I like the idea. I like the move they used. Something I'm noticing about, and I need to be a little more sharp of an eye because I don't know. Tell me if you've picked up on this or this is just me noticing something based on who Alberto turns out to be as a person. I feel like in all of his matches, he spends so little time under, as an underdog position. And maybe it's just because he's really only fought Tejano, and then he had that. I think he had a jobber match, but there is no like we talk about Phoenix and Mill, where even then Mill wasn't as much of a bad guy, but Phoenix was still such a good guy that you can spend a large amount of time of Phoenix kind of getting his ass kicked. Mm-hmm. We talk about the last Son of Havoc and Honeycomb match. Both guys, I feel spent a large amount of time kind of being under, where I don't know. I feel I feel like Alberto, maybe by the second act, like will spend some time getting like kind of being under, but he doesn't spend a lot of time. Like it indicates to me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but someone who sort of politics their way to a powerful position. Like, oh yeah, I'm probably like, I feel like you are the babyface champion, and he's beloved. The crowd is so hot for Alberto. Like that, if he spends some time like at the top of the match, you know, kind of in an unfavorable position, I don't know. I'm just curious why he never takes any of that first act heat. And I could be very wrong. I could be seeing something that is not there. I could be maybe like he's still getting his reaction. So like maybe it's a very like American WWE influenced brain where you get a little bit of shine up top and then you get a lot of bit of heat. And that's like your first act is that like the babyface is under trying to fight his way back in. So like maybe that's just me kind of like applying that very WWE trained way of watching wrestling to Alberto. But it strikes me as odd that always, at least in the first acts of all of his matches, he's always very strong. He's always booked like this, like, of course I'm not going to lose. I'm Alberto El Patron, guys.
I think it's more so, I think it's half and half throughout the entire match. But what is happening is that quick, abrupt, like, oh, he won. That's the biggest issue for me, at least. They're truly on the same exact playing field, then whoop, oh, nope, he won, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool when some finishers do that, but it was, I mean, and I think you had to, I don't know. It was weird to put both of these matches together on the same card now because this only got 8 minutes, 22 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like, they probably were specifically told you can't go over 10 or whatever. So it did feel like there should have been one more sort of moment in there. It was cool. Immediate Quiero chants for Tejano's entrance. They think it's an asshole, and I agree. Vampiro name drops Alberto's Olympic credentials, which he was chosen, but Mexico did not send a wrestling team that year, so he ended up not going to the Olympics. And his pride fighting credentials, which is that time that Mirko Cro Cop ended Alberto's entire career with like a single roundhouse less than 2 minutes into the fight. So maybe we don't mention his pride fighting credentials anymore. Shouts out to Cro Cop. But it's a bull rope match. Both men are tied by the wrist to a bull rope with the cowbell in the middle. Normally this match is, and they sort of reference it, that it's touch the 4 posts to win the match. I think there was some miscommunication because they mentioned that to win this match, you have to touch the 4 corners of the ring while tied to your opponent. And Striker even goes into detail. Well, the ring is 20 by 20, and the rope is only 18 feet. So I wonder if that's going to come into it. And then they cut to commercial, and they cut back, and he's like, and this is actually going to be a pinfall submission bull rope match. So let's see how that goes.
See, I always took that as them just explaining how it usually is, but this is not that way.
Based on them going away from commercial and then coming back and him clearing that up, that felt a little bit of a jumbled message, I think. Which, you're filming how many episodes in a go? It's a little meatball surgery. The fact that that's the only little bit of miscommunication is, compared to other shows, compared to WCW and WWE, that's very impressive. They're still doing a very good job.
The crowd has some miscommunication over who you should be cheering for in this match.
They love Alberto.
It's so insane.
I mean, yes and no. Don't forget, I get it because I remember the hype for Alberto. He was a great wrestler. He was, in the ring, it was very exciting to see a guy like Alberto come along and be so technical, be such a piece of shit. Like, he was an amazing heel in WWE and in a very fresh way. The fact that he could talk, that he could wrestle, that if you're a guy like me and, felt a little kind of pushed out by some of the bigger guys, it's hard being a fan of something and all you see are unrealistic bodies like Brock Lesnar, like Dave Bautista. And it's and it's cool if you like big, meaty, muscly men. If you like body guys or powerhouse guys, that's awesome. But like, as someone like me who like, no, I like technical guys, and I like guys who are a little slimmer so they can slip around and put on an armbar out of nowhere. I do like that. Seeing Alberto come out of nowhere was exciting.
I'm just saying Tejano is much cooler. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's so weird seeing Alberto at this time before his TNA run kind of fucked shit up, before his personal life fucked shit up. And just being like, he was a very fresh face. Like he was a fresh breath of air in wrestling that was needed. But yeah, Tejano was way cooler. I agree. That dude just carries around bull ropes and kicks the shit out of people.
Yeah, he's this buff cowboy just saying, hey, I'm going to choke you to death with my rope.
Yeah, Tejano's awesome. Oh, I wish he choked this man to death. He did not. He submitted at 8 minutes, 22 seconds via armbar.
Boo. And it was an immediate like, oh no. It's like when you stub your toe and you quickly like hit your knee. That's what happened.
It felt like, yeah. Like this entire feud has been to put over Alberto. Like Tejano's awesome. I don't know if we've really seen Tejano be awesome. Like it feels like a lot of this is all of their matches, all of their sort of segments are in service to make Alberto look cooler. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I was saying before about like, I'm curious about what other people say, like looking back at it now and knowing what we know about, and I want to take that knowing what we know about Alberto out.
Yes, please.
But looking back at it, it feels very much like this is very self-serving to Alberto. A little Hogan WCW.
That's what I was going to bring up is in Young Rock, when The Rock gets married, Hogan is there, and it's in between The Rock being like someone of note and just kind of, hey, you go in and you're a jobber. And he's like, hey, you want to, maybe like talk up Vince. He's talking to Hulk Hogan at his wedding. And he's like, yeah, like, actually, he's just like, yeah, I really wish like I could go somewhere. And like, Hogan's like, hey, you want to know what? If you got it in you and you will, like your time will come. And I really wanted him to be like, oh yeah, you want to know what? Maybe you can talk to Vince. Maybe you and I can do a match. Maybe you can get me over a little. And then Hogan says, brother, I don't do that. Then just walks away.
Brother, that don't work for me.
Absolutely not. I do like one quick exchange. Vampiro is like, oh man, need to watch what I say. And then
I love this.
Stryker says, when do you ever worry about what to say? And then there's a little beat. And then Vampiro goes, when I'm talking to my mom.
It was so cute. I also have that written down. Thank you. Thank you for keeping this podcast honest, because Vampiro is only politically correct. He only worries about what is the right thing to say. He only watches his mouth when he's talking to his vampiric mother, and it is so sweet.
These are the times when I'm like, this is the real Vampiro shining through. Is just like a little sweetie. Then all the other times he's playing it up for a gimmick.
He's playing it up for a gimmick. He's also entrenched in a very odd, backwards sort of. There is an odd culture to professional wrestling. I quote Colt Cabana that professional wrestling always exists 10 years behind the times, like at minimum. It is the Canada of popular culture. And I should say culture as a whole. So like there's always this little bit of like, oh, this is a woman talking in the ring. She's giving me a migraine. Take my wife, please. But then moments come out, it's like, no, I love my mother and I love you. Anytime he calls Matt Stryker my teacher, when Matt Stryker says something insightful, he's like, wow, that's why you're my teacher. I'll look up to you, guy. I'm like, that's also very sweet. That's also sweetie vampiri.
So does that mean Canadian wrestling is currently dealing with the fallout of 9/11? Because if wrestling's 10 years behind, like Canada pop culture, that would mean Canadian wrestling is 20 years behind.
Yes. In Canadian wrestling, Gail Kim just debuted on Monday Night Raw and won the women's title, which happened in 2003.
They're still talking about WMDs over there. That's part of storylines.
Yeah.
People are walking into Vanga
my
Boyses, you know, like Kingdom Hearts is currently the top played game in the locker rooms.
I can't laugh. I need to save my voice.
For what?
We got a second podcast recording later.
I guess.
Two characters that are very difficult for me to hit.
Ooh, hey, this is kind of like quick draw.
No, that's the problem. That's Megillah.
Oh.
Because Megillah is in your sinuses. Quick draw is in your throat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to be in quick draw's throat. Hey,
Yo, me too. Guys, unrelated, but Hanna-Barbera's quick draw absolutely can get it. El Kabong as well.
Boo Boo too, yay. Did you listen to the Formulaic episode where we
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a real story. I got turned on. I was like, damn, Boo Boo's looking like a snack.
Yo, fair enough, though.
Real quick, an invention just to like make things pop literally. Put bang snappers, or what do we call these things? Snap pops, you know, those things you throw on the ground and they pop.
I call them snappers. I feel like they have
a bunch of names.
They're colloquial. Yes.
Yeah. Just line those on chairs when you hit someone with it and it goes pop.
I buy that. Hell yeah. I mean, they do like tie C4 explosives to like barbed wire baseball bats and shit.
Ugh.
I know, it's so scary. We go to the temple training room where Conan is running punching drills with Puma as memories of Conan throwing in Puma's towel flash back in the mind as Hernandez comes into the room and is introduced to Puma. Hernandez says, "Hey, what's up? I'm a big fan of yours, big dog." Offers the fist bump. Puma reciprocates.
Which we should say is a throwback to when Dario sickly tried to handshake this man. He just like fist bumps his like broken hand. It's very funny.
Yeah, like it's so, and like another shout out to LAX, which stands for the Latin American Exchange. And in general, they worked usually pretty heel in TNA. I should have actually mentioned sort of the first storyline, because it used to be Conan, who was a WCW guy, was a Wolfpack, NWO Wolfpack, which was the Kevin Nash side of NWO. That was the cool side. That was the side that did not have Hulk Hogan. James has given me the thumbs up for
I was randomly going thumbs up or thumbs down to things that are kind of the same.
And honestly, it was a game you guys couldn't see, but it meant so much for me to end with a thumbs up because I'm such a I'm a Wolfpack fan. I'm like, no, it's the NWO that doesn't have Hulk Hogan. It's awesome. Trust me. But so like, yeah, it was Conan. I think it was Conan, Road Dogg, and K-Quick. And they were sort of like a trio. They were a triple threat. And eventually Conan leaves to start the LAX, who fucking hate America. They do not appreciate being treated as second-class citizens, as Latin Americans. And the first thing they want to do is burn the American flag on television in 2005, I want to say 2004.
Dang.
Like, yeah, LAX is awesome. They just, I think years later, Eddie Kingston, who you may know, who wrestles on AEW television, definitely murders a child with a car. LAX are hard as hell. They just want to burn flags and commit vehicular manslaughter.
I roll my blunts with American flags.
Hell yeah. I know you didn't mean to, but you sounded a little like Kid Rock when you said that.
Good. That's how. What if Kid Rock were saying stuff like that? You'd be like, wow, he's actually hardcore.
I would be like, you know what, Kid Rock? I'm back on board.
Instead, he's like, if you defile the flag, I'm going to find you and I won't do anything. I'll just like strongly disagree and like really cry until you just say you love America as much as I do.
And we'll all say, we know, Kid Rock, you're always crying. And then telling us you're not crying.
Guys, I'll change the genre of music if that's what it means for you to like me.
Kid Rock sucks ass. What does not suck ass is this Boyle Heights street fight for the Lucha Underground Championship.
New belt, baby.
Beautiful looking belt. I loved this belt.
They must have had it in mind, like, oh, someone's going to come in and destroy the belt because that one looks like shit, the old one, and this one looks like, hey, yeah, this is a championship belt.
I'm curious, like what the order of that was, because that makes sense. If it's like here's the first belt, we will destroy it, and then here's the second belt, because I could see them being like a way to build up Cage, because Cage at this point has been monstrous. Wins, and they run it. I should have written it down, but wins over Johnny Mundo, wins over Argenis, wins over Aerostar, wins over Prince Puma, the actual champion. Like, this dude has, and dominant wins. Like, Brian Cage will sometimes just invent a new move, and it's the best looking wrestling move I've ever seen in my life. Like, Cage is insane. And it's so cool to see him look so strong, because he fucking is.
And I'll say this, we get Cage chants in it. It's like, let's go Puma, let's go Cage. And I'd like to say LL Cruel Cage, because ladies love Cage. The Let's Go Cage chants were audibly higher in register, and I think mainly the women were screaming, let's go Cage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mix of, it's definitely a mix of both, because we had it last time. Women are probably screaming let's go Cage, because that dude is a fuck machine wrapped up in a wrestling meat suit.
He's like Bane without the crazy toxin drug. But he still looks like Bane, but he's not using toxin.
No, like, he's just fucking jacked as hell and huge and is awesome. I want to check something, because it's definitely after Cage was sort of one of those PWG, which we talked about in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. We talked a little bit about on our ICP podcast, but they were like really the indie based out of Los Angeles with the Battle of Los Angeles titles, Battle of Los Angeles tournaments, like kind of making your name at I'm trying to think of a good example, but like if you did well at a Bola tournament, if you kind of had some good matches at Bola, you were making your name. It was sort of that, like, it's basically it was CBGBs. Like, if you had a good set at CBGBs, people are kind of looking your way now. That is what PWG and Bola was. And Brian Cage at that point is kind of like the Blondie. Like, he's one of those, like, because it was indies, there was a lot of smaller guys and faster guys. Well, here comes this huge dude, clearly has mainstream appeal according to WWE and American wrestling as we know it, but can move like some of these smaller guys. Has the technique and the discipline and just the creativity of a lot of these. Like, Cage is like unique as hell, man. I don't even know how much to put over Brian Cage.
I'm surprised you did CBGBs. You should have done when Mitzi Shore passes you know?
Honestly, well, yeah. But what's like an indie version of that club? Because the Comedy Store is the Comedy Store is the WWE of I don't know, late 20th century American comedy.
It's like when you get added to that little tiny notebook that Zach Bartz would have at the shithole.
Yes, this is the shit.
Such a hyper-specific thing.
So specific.
That no one will understand because none of our listeners went to the shithole.
No, which is a shame because it's awesome.
Uh-huh.
I just want to check something really quick.
Well, as you look for something, hey guys, can you say tetanus? Because I guess just hitting someone with a clean just chair that's made of metal or a clean trash can will, I guess, give you tetanus.
That was, well, because they were putting over so many things. They were putting over how dirty the trash cans were, which is true because the trash cans, it's a Boyle Heights street fight is no disqualification. Like, so they have weapons everywhere because, of course, we got some tables, we got some chairs, we got some trash cans that are filled with trash, and the lids are just dusty. Just dusty fucking trash can lids.
Also, guys, obviously, we know these were placed there because you can fight with them, but more so that it's obvious in a studio recording place, they're not going to put metal trash cans with metal lids out. It would be either plastic or, hey, you have to go into another area to throw something away.
Yeah, it would be in the hallway. But they do set it up. You know what? They do kind of clear it up on commentary, which are the little details I love from like Stryker, especially Stryker and Vampiro. But to set up like, Dario brought these trash cans out because he wanted to see more violence. He has strewn the ringside with weaponry. The thing I wanted to look for, and it's actually pretty recent because this is we're in like early 2015 when this episode is released, so probably filmed sometime in 2014. So about this time last year, Brian Cage was rejected on TNA television, which is they just covered it on the Deadlock podcast. So I'm not gonna get deep into it, but just a huge fumble because you see Cage, what he can do, and B, just what he looks like. Any company needed someone like that, and they pass on Brian Cage, and it is such a huge mistake. Like it's like that could have been the dude to sort of like make that company relevant. Instead, they're booking Hulk Hogan's daughter. That's the same show. Brian Cage does not get picked to move on in the gut check challenge, and he does not get a contract. That's the same episode Brooke Hogan is marrying Bubba Ray Dudley.
Hell yeah, dude.
TNA's in the toilet, dude.
This episode was filmed January 25th, 2016. Oh my God.
Wait, this is filmed in 2016?
No, 2015.
2015. Oh, okay.
The joke was it's released in 2015. How could it have been filmed?
Yeah. Okay. So like a little over a year ago then at this point, and a little over a year later, he's having this brutal match with Puma. I think the first thing Cage does is that Paul London style, he clotheslines Puma off of the apron, who takes a full flip to the floor, and everyone's like, stop killing the beloved Prince man. Or I'll say the children are like, please stop killing our beloved Puma Prince. Because I do like the idea that like a good wrestling show has a little bit of everything. And I think you want that in your matchups too. Or like if you're like an old school big wrestling fan and you want to see some fucking big style violence and you want that like, big meaty man Brian Cage, we got you. But if you're also like, a 12-year-old kid who just like, I just want a superhero I can look up to because I haven't talked to my dad in like 9 years, you can look up to Prince Puma.
And he'll be talking to you after talking to your mommy.
Hell yeah, he's gonna fuck your mom and you're gonna say thank you, Prince. I guess.
As he says, sweet dreams, my sweet prince.
Aw.
'Cause I'm now your king.
We should also mention Hernandez is in the front row. Puma sort of fist bumps him on the way out. Hernandez is here to watch to see what this whole Lucha Underground is all about.
There was a time when Puma was getting over and really taking Cage to task. And someone says, oh my God, Conan looks happy?
He kind of does. And to be fair, this is in so many ways a million times better than the bull rope match, and exactly the problem I had with the bull rope match. And I feel like Tejano didn't look as strong as he could have. Both guys, I think, look so good in this match.
Yeah,
like that. Another reason you like Cage is awesome is he is huge compared to Puma, and there are guys who are like, I'm too big. Why would I sell anything this guy does? But Cage, like, not just he's athletic, he's very smart creatively and like in a story, like to telling a story of like, it will take Puma 3 moves for every one of mine based on the size difference, but we're going to find interesting ways to get those 3 moves in.
Yeah, based on his girthy carcass.
Yeah. And they let Puma's slim carcass get his 3 moves in on Cage's girthy carcass. And it's a fucking war.
Which is something Vampiro describes Brian Cage as having, a girthy carcass. Or it was Stryker. I don't know their voices.
They're both pervs. I missed that one, actually, so I couldn't tell you who.
One thing Vampiro I know says they're talking about, we're not in agreement right now over who should be winning. And then Vampiro says, well, I think we can both agree on this. Conan is ugly.
What did Conan ever do to you, Vampiro?
We know what he stole a major role in a Spanish soap opera.
That's also, yeah, true. Wait, Conan stole that from Vampiro? I thought Vampiro stole that from Conan.
Oh, no, we've seen Vampiro's acting.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot. I, like millions of people who saw Vampiro's acting, have forgot.
Conan gets struck, and I'm like, he is dead. And then he is a phoenix because he rises from the ashes.
So that was kind of scary. So, like, after, like, similar story that we saw Phoenix and Mill, Cage has a huge advantage on the outside. Cage is tossing. He's just tossing Puma wherever he wants him to go. I got real scared when he tossed Conan into the barricade. Which, and like this moment of like, I beat the shit out of Puma. Hey, Conan, fuck you. And he just starts throwing Conan into the barricade. And it looked like Conan did not see that coming. I don't know if Cage was doing something on the fly. Nah. It looked great. And like, it made sense. Or like if Conan forgot the spot, it was like, oh, that was scary. But it looked awesome and everyone was safe.
Someone said, there's no doubt he's dead. But it might have been about Cage.
Maybe. Or it might have been about Conan. It could have been about any three of these guys because they are beating the shit out of each other. Puma at one point like gets a trash can lid away from Cage, blasts him in the head and the back 10 times. I went back to count it to make sure it's just 10 consecutive trash can lid shots before he puts it on his chest and then running shooting star presses the trash can lid into his torso.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal.
And then Conan comes up with his cane and beats over the head Cage, and then Vampiro screams, that cane was loaded. You have to agree with me on that, right? Which is like, what do you mean? Like it's corked or something in the middle? Yeah. Like when you do Pinewood derbies and your dad says like, hey, to make sure it has as much weight as we're allowed to have, measure it, then carve out in the bottom a little area that we can glue in just a steel thing to like weight it down.
After the official weigh-in, so like you're cheating.
No.
Yes. Vampiro is onto something. This is not a regulation weighted cane. No athletic commission would approve of this cane. This whole match is a fucking war. Honestly, I enjoy the Angelico Son of Havoc match. I think that was more in service of flipping Son of Havoc than anything else.
Flippy.
The Alberto Tejado match was whatever. This match is a fucking war. Puma's 450 splash from the ring to the outside through the table. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, I did have one more note on, maybe I've said this before, but seeing wrestlers have to set up a table themselves reminds me a lot of hardcore gangster rappers who are clearly doing insanely technical and complex poetry stuff in their raps. And it's like, okay, you can't be that hard when I know you've taken poetry classes because you did like a string of alliteration and internal rhyme that is very advanced for someone to just come off the street and do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of that. I mean, no, but how hard is it to set up a table? You don't need to take there's no table setting up class.
No, but what I'm saying is you don't look as hard as you think you are when you're doing it. Of like, yeah, I'm just fucking hardcore wrestler. Oh, let me put up this table. All right, let me push you through it.
I mean, I guess I agree with some of that. But then it leads to a table exploding under the brutal weight of a wrestler being slammed through it, so I forgive it.
Well, all I can think of is, hey guys, we're having a cookout at my house. I'm bringing the tables. And then you just see Prince Puma on a Sunday afternoon setting up tables for his friends.
And then you see Cage in a tree 25 yards away with binoculars watching, going, I'm going to put that motherfucker through that. I swear to God. I'm going to ruin that potato salad.
I bet a lot of parents before, before you're making so much money at wrestling, in those situations, some shit heel family members will joke like, hey, you should set up the tables and chairs. Isn't that kind of like your job?
I hate them. I hate those family members.
Yeah.
I have the opposite reaction as Prince Puma has to these fans. I also want to shout this out. The first time a table gets pulled out, I think it is the first. Yeah, I think there's only one table in this match. So Prince Puma pulls the table out, and it times it so perfectly. This is one of those things I don't know if this was in the moment or if this was studio, but either way, it creates an awesome television moment where he goes under the ring and a chant starts up. We want tables. Before they see what he's pulling out, and then we want tables. Like as he pulls the table out halfway through, some of the people see it, they start cheering, and he's like a cheeky, beautiful little prince that he is, just puts his little hand up to his little ear to listen to the crowd explode. It's like, we're getting tables. I love it. I love it so much.
I love it.
It's the kind of like sweet boy, cheeky little kitten dozing on the windowsill, baby face. I love, and it's weird because I feel like as you get older, fans, you enjoy. Villains are cooler. They get to wear leather jackets and smoke cigarettes. I get it, but there is such a place in my heart for the baby face who's like, oh, you wanted tables, did you? Mm-hmm. Well, I got that for you right here.
It's like on podcasts when it's like, oh, you wanted noise gating, huh? You got yourself. Or I guess like, oh, you wanted cum jokes,
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but anytime we hit a cum joke or a Dominator joke, we always put our little hands to our little ears.
Huh? You guys like these?
We know how you're cackling and giggling to yourselves something silly. A big story of this match. So Cage discus clotheslines, gets the 2, follows up with the Weapon X, his finisher. A brutal looking move, but doesn't cover. And after that Weapon X, that's a problem. I'll say that not a problem with the match, but a problem with the character right now. What Cage isn't covering Puma. He's not going for the win. He's going for more damage. He's going for more punishment. After the Weapon X, he just hits a ground and pound. The same type of ground and pound that caused Conan to throw in the towel, which is it's brutal. It looks really mean, but it's not winning you the match, Cage. And powerbomb 1, he holds on, does a second powerbomb through a trash can, does not cover again. Instead, he calls out Hernandez.
Wow.
Like a goddamn fool.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the middle of a title match. Hernandez is just watching some wrestling. He's having a good time. You have no business calling this guy out, but he does. And Hernandez gets onto the apron, and he's talking his shit. And that's when Conan strikes Cage with the cane. All legal in a Boyle Heights street fight. Vampiro calls him a dirty bastard. It's adorable. And a very that dirty bastard.
ODB style.
Love ODB. But I'm also both the rapper as well as the one dirty bitch from TNA. If you guys don't know who ODB is, man, look up some ODB stuff.
I'm down
both
with
the
ODB.
Rapper and the wrestler. Oh, hell yeah, me too.
The wrestler, not the rapper.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about ODB before. I like ODB, but yeah, all right. God, I gotta finish this match. I can't get distracted by how awesome ODB is.
I love ODB. Like Odie,
Odie from Garfield?
Yeah, and I'm calling you a B.
No, I got that. Puma lands the 630 after the so it goes Hernandez distraction, cane shot, 630 splash for the win at 12 minutes and 13 seconds. Hernandez does throw in a second trash can, but we're at the finish of the match. I think I like to be like I think Hernandez just got caught up in the moment where he's like, yeah, he throws a trash can into the ring. He was like, no, I can't use that. I gotta close the match. I gotta put this machine man down, or he will kill all of us.
He should have scooped him into the trash. He wouldn't have fit, but at least get as much as you could into him.
Yeah. Which might have just been one dealt.
Yeah.
But by hook or by crook or by cane in this case, Cage is put down. Our champion has retained, has finally dealt with this menace of a machine, and has a new belt to prove for it. Konnan comes into the ring to present the new title to Puma. They hug, they raise hands. Hernandez thinks it's dope. Good night, everybody.
I truly thought this was going to end with Konnan betraying Puma.
I did too. I thought that the week before. And then when I saw Hernandez be introduced tonight, I thought that's what they were doing.
Same.
But you know what? I'm kind of glad they're not.
Same.
This was a really sweet, especially with everything else. And Hell Comes Out of Havoc was awesome, but doesn't feel like a conclusion necessarily. It feels like a new chapter.
Yeah.
More than a conclusion. Alberto Tejano was what it was. Felt like it really never got out of second gear. This match, A, being as good as it is, and then B, having that like storybook finish, it feels resolved in a very satisfying way, and it just feels like fuck yeah, heroes. Like fuck yeah, superheroes. Like yeah, let's do it for the good. I loved this match. I loved it so much.
Superheroes. And then the rest of that.
Science fiction.
Well, I don't know the rest of the song either.
Okay, cool. And that was this week on that was Lucha Underground. I started a lot of sentences halfway through.
Yeah, you do that quite a lot, Sean.
Yeah, man, you asked me to do podcasts.
Learn to speak better, okay? And maybe then you could be with this high flying, high crying, hit it and crit it.
Let him know.
Big boss bitch of Marshland Media.
Oh, well, as much as I want to every day, you can always see me on twitch.tv/goosevk, where I do shit and have a good time doing it.
He never does anything on that. Instead,
that's not true.
He does everything.
That is also true. You took me for a ride roller coaster style.
Yeah, you jabroni. Hey, guys,
Whoa.
Head over to MLMpod.com to find out information about my other podcasts, such as The Height of Horror, Formulaic, Mostly Speakin' Sentai, Hit It and Crit It, and Sweet Child of Time. Then listen to my music under Marshland Monster. March 25th, Dragon Boy Suede and I have a new song coming out called Odwalla. Check it. Then on April 7th, Crazy 8, The Snapcase, remixed some of my songs, and we're putting that out on an EP called Exilian, so check it. And then later on in the April, probably another Dragon Boy Suede song, and we got it going on, fuckers. And then head over to patreon.com/MLMpod, where for $5 a month you get exclusive content on every single Friday. Oh baby, currently in March we are doing nothing but trauma movies for This Existed. All 5 March Fridays we're doing it. It's a good time, baby. Sean was supposed to be on the Father's Day episode. We were going to fool him into going on to another Astron 6 movie, which is the people who made Psycho Gorman, and we were just going to roast your ass for like an hour and a half, saying, oh, I bet you didn't like this movie because you suck.
No, instead, I had to have a meeting with my landlord and figure out what we're doing with my housing situation. It's solved. I'm in a very good place. It was very not good for about a month and a half back there. So sorry you guys couldn't roast me. I was fighting homelessness, personal homelessness.
You want to know what? Go watch Father's Day and just give us a 5-sentence review of it.
Yeah, and then I don't know, go to my, Twitter, @Sean Marciniak, and roast me about not enjoying Psycho Gorman enough. I don't know.
Hey, and if you're a $10 patron, you get exclusive monthly content on the top of the weekly in the form of straight to Patreon. We just released our Rats episode. Man, that movie is great. Robbie from Hit It and Crit It was there. Nicole chose the movie. Same director, writer as Night of the Comet. So if you like that, you're probably going to like Rats with a Z. Ooh, baby, it's so good. And you get your name read on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Alex Z, the Waz, Orion. No, wait, I'm so thrown off because I started with, we don't have time, Sean, unless you have a very funny interstitial.
Go ahead, buddy.
All right, Alex Z, the Waz, Steve F, Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Orion, aka Defo, he's a rapper, D-F-O, Jordan B, the Chaos Witch, Joshua, my Bickle, brother in common law, Steve Barnes, a sweet child of time, the womb in which I emerged, my mother, Lil Corey's BFF and roommate, Shane, that Fed, and twitch.tv/Core Winning. It's Corwin, who we're going to see in a few minutes.
Yay. But it might be a few days from when you guys are listening to this.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a full week.
Yeah. But don't you worry about that, because my name is Sean.
And I'm James.
And I almost got my ass beat by a guy from South Africa. Another Vampiro line I almost forgot to mention in this episode. And this has been Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Bye, you beautiful listeners. I love you. I kiss you. I say goodbye.
Bye-bye. Oh, yeah.